Hello, everyone. Coach Mo here with another Motivational Monday to start your week off on the right foot. And I am going to help you today shed some light. Flashlight, cue the flashlight. I needed this yesterday during the tropical storm, lost electricity. I'm going to shed some light today on a problem that vexes so many human beings. It ought to be the next pandemic. There are certain ways that we think are the right, true way for us to live, and they're not. I know. Sort of a bold statement, Mo. Really? Yeah. So I'm going to lay out something for you that will help you see how often ways that we as human beings try to navigate things is really not helping us. If you don't know who I am and you're new to my work, this is career coach, kick-ass coach, Mo Fall. I am the founder, creator, and the kick-assiest coach of Kick-Ass in our 12-week transformational workshop, where we take women from a career that's not feeling good, a soul that's feeling a little bit down and out, and lift them into their next big career move. And even now, if your career is not performing for you, I know, do we ever think about it that way? It's like, I work, I have a job. No. Your career should be working for you and with you. It should be an asset. You know what an asset is? An asset is something that continues to appreciate. If you're in a job, you're probably in an asset that is depreciating. And this is a big, big problem. And you might be stuck in your job and stuck in a funk and stuck. Or you may not be able to get yourself out of a rut because of this very important topic I'm going to cover today. And it is super important that even if you're one of my clients, you may not have heard me talk about it in this way before. Why is that? Hey, Tarina, nice to see you. And ladies, if you're here, let me know you're here so I can shout out and say hello and get that extra little joy in my heart that I know that you're here listening, absorbing, learning, getting inspired, lifting yourself up. I don't care what your political affiliation is. What I care about right now is that there's a woman who's going to be the second in command for this country. And women have been fighting for rights and the power that is inherent for us to have for thousands of years. This past presidential election was the 100th anniversary of women's right to vote. We've only been voting in this country for 100 years. Out of the 240 or so years we've been a country, we've participated in the voting process less than half of our great nation's history. Now, if you're living in this day and age, you might take that for granted. I sometimes do too, but I have dove into history this past year. 2020 was my year to dive into women's history, American history, European history, to understand the power struggles that women have been in for at least the past 100 years, more than that actually, the past 150 years or so, when Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony partnered up to first abolish slavery and the rights of Black Americans. And then they went into women's rights. And you might not know that. I didn't know that. And I've been a bit of a women's history buff, sort of, for a long time. But those two women were fighting for rights for Blacks as well as women. And enough of the history lesson for today, but I want to really cover a topic that's probably really bothering and affecting you in a bigger way than you probably think. We human beings overthink. We do. We overthink things. We make all sorts of stories around things. We craft great rationalizations around our troubles, around our problems. We actually lie to ourselves all the time. I know. And even if you think you don't, You do. Because every single one of us have unconscious biases. Unconscious meaning you're not aware of it. You are simply not aware of that bias. And every single day I coach women to be more in tune with what's really going on and where they really want to go and where they really need to be thinking and feeling about themselves and the world in order to get there. I've been doing a little extra research on this topic because I'm teaching my Leadership Academy tonight on crucial conversations. And I'm going to be coaching them in real time over having these crucial conversations. And the first thing I'm going to cover is the crucial conversation they're having with themselves. Now, over the last 3 weeks, and this being the 4th week, I've been covering topics to try to help us navigate the stress, the strain, the burnout from the pandemic, the racial uprisings that we had in this beloved country, and now the election and the voter stuff and all of that stress and tension. It's been a lot. But why it gets harder, or how it gets harder, is because of the way we perceive it. And oftentimes, we don't see that we're perceiving it through our imperfect filter. I know. And when you think you're self-reflective and you think you're on it, there may be another layer for you to get real with yourself. But here's the thing. Most of us don't know what our blind spots are. Most of us don't know what our unconscious biases are. It sort of makes sense. If it's an unconscious bias, how would we know? You know, we have been talking about the unconscious bias of gender and race in human interactions for the last several years. A great friend of mine coined a phrase called flip it to test it. And she said, every time you talk about her or she, flip it to he or him and see if the same thing applies. She found herself as a chief human resource officer responding more rapidly to one of the gentlemen in her organization who asked about a pay review. She found herself responding more favorably to him than a woman who asked the same question. And she caught herself in her own unconscious bias. She didn't realize that she was filtering some of the decades-long social norms about men and what they ask for and being responded to and about what their needs are. There's a lot of biases around that. And if you're not aware of that, I just maybe woke you up on that. It's been going around for a long time. I think most of us know that. And so she did this whole TED Talk, and this whole conversation came up to light about flip it to test it. So with what's been going on with the pandemic, with the racial uprisings, with the election, there's been a lot of self-limiting talk. There's been a lot of feelings that are complex and confusing. And the number one conversation that you've been having has been with yourself. I know by fact that you don't talk to anyone else as much as you talk to yourself. One of the reasons why I have a transformational career workshop and not just an informational career workshop and not just job getting strategies is because all my career, I noticed that other women were not advancing in the way that I was. I noticed that other women had self-limiting behaviors, attitudes, beliefs, commitments about who they were and what was possible or not possible for them. And oftentimes, that conflicted with them being their best version of themselves. Now, someone commented on a Facebook post over the weekend to me that she just wants to be a mom and a homemaker and have a husband taking care of the bills and the work. Okay, awesome. Just because we're talking about women's success and power doesn't mean that that's not a choice. Men can choose that also. As a matter of fact, my son has been in that role since he lost his job in the pandemic. Nothing wrong with that. But you see, true power is when we make choices. Power isn't when it's supposed to be this way and that not this way. That's not power. That's called being told. True power is when you have choices and freedom, and you make those choices coming from your empowered self, not from being told who you are, not from being told what you're only capable of, but by making true, free choices. I'm going to weave all this together. You may be taking notes. I hope you are, because this is one of the deepest conversations that I'm going to have about our consciousness and about how it tricks us. I talk about this all the time relative to our soul coming alive and actually coming from that place of your soul. If you haven't seen my free webinar, you ought to check it out, mofall.com/masterclass. And you can check out my webinar. I talk about 5 shifts to bring your soul to work to land your dream job. Today, I'm diving deeper into the whole idea of our gremlins and our GPS system. Those are 2 of the shifts. Check out the webinar and you can see the rest of it there. One of the things I want you to fully appreciate is that as a human being, we can't help but to be talking to ourselves a lot. Every single minute, every single second, we're going to talk to ourselves about something. We're going to be filtering in the external world. We're going to be filtering in how we feel and what's going on. Oh, I'm hungry. Oh, I'm thirsty. I have to go to the bathroom. Oh, my butt hurts from sitting so much. I got to get up. Oh, someone's calling. Oh, I've got an appointment. Like, you're always churning. And when your head hits that pillow, what are you thinking about? Chances are you're not thinking about positivity, gratitude, and your blessings. If you are, fantastic. But most human beings are worried, and they're either looking in the rear view mirror or they're thinking about the future into something that they can't even control way out there yet. I'm no different. My mind is always going in places, and I'm also trying to create content and ideas and helpful things to help people really realize their full potential. So my brain is going all the time. What I have done intentionally over the last 20 plus years is to move myself into an empowered place on a regular basis. And this is not overanalyzing. This is not just old-fashioned self-reflection. This is transcending the mind. I've had women talk to me about our transformational career workshop, the Kick-Ass Workshop. I've had women who've been doing the same thing with their careers and it's not working. And I indicate to them that there's something that they have to move past in order to have a better result. And you've got to actually come from a different place. Einstein told us that you can't solve a problem thinking the same way that you thought when you created the problem, but it's deeper than that. And most quantum physicists will agree that it's an energetic place more than a cognitive place. So you don't have to think differently. You have to come from an energetic perspective that's different. And that's what Einstein was talking about. He was the first quantum physicist who told us that energy is slowed down into matter, that all energy exists in this quantum unified field. He actually called it the ether. And when Einstein tried to explain this to us, he knew it from a deep sense of intuition and being in his genius zone. And he was able to turn this into a mathematical equation. But not by overanalyzing it. It was inspired. It came to him through being in a transcendental state. And you know how that happened? He was traveling on a train. And he lost perspective of time. And that is the place where we have access to the out of our mind, out of time-based time, to receive inspiration, to be in our soul's genius zone. And this is what we do when we decide to sit still and meditate. We go out of the chatter and rattle of the prison and the poison of the constant repeating thought patterns that are holding us back, that are lying to us. And some of those lies that we keep replaying are, I'll never get ahead, they'll never talk to me, I'll never be seen in that meeting. All of these things that churn about because we were told it enough times in our life that we have turned it into truth. And we saw a lot of this play out in the political stage. How much hate and vitriol is because we believe that the other person is either evil or mean or doesn't know something. We have just decided with incomplete information. And we can literally transcend all of that and come from a place of deep inner knowing by sitting still and being quiet. You know, the big word that keeps us trapped in, and this is work that Dr. Tasha Urich has done at the University of Colorado. What traps us is continuing to ask ourselves why. Puts us in a victim stance. And I'll bet a lot of your thoughts are all about why. Why'd that happen? Why? Why and how come are sort of interrelated on this. And these words can trap us in a syndrome of negativity and victim mindset. And what I would offer for you this week, to give yourself a break and to find extra time where you're not thinking and overanalyzing things, and that you are truly in a space and a place that you're able to come into a quiet place. Come into a place where you are feeling connected to this energetic field, where you are feeling a bit of release from the time and stress pressures that you undoubtedly have been under like double and triple fold all year. This is an amazing place of refresh, rebooting, and recalibration that you can get into. Hello, Keisha. Nice to see you here. So I offer to you today, as this Motivational Monday and as this most glorious week sets into motion, to find a different inner dialogue. And rather than asking why, ask yourself, what do I want? What do I want to be in this world? What can I be? What can I do to make my situation better? Rather than the why me scenarios that are probably being tossed and turned around. There's an energetic principle that is fairly simple to understand, super simple to try to change, and it's where your focus is. That is what will expand. Where energy goes, matter flows. So where you put your emphasis, where you think, how you think about your inner life and how you think about yourself is a guarantee that that energy is turning into your further reality. So if you keep asking yourself why, you're going to be continuing on that climb toward not a good answer. But if you ask yourself, what do I want to be? What do I want to do? What do I want to experience? If you ask yourself these more open questions, you're going to be able to find answers. Now, here's the thing. Most human beings can't get themselves out of this trap on their own. It's sort of like being caught up in that net. You know those shows where like you trip on a trap in the jungle and the net comes up and grabs you and you're like hanging from the tree in this net? Well, not you, but someone in the movie. And swinging in this net, you can't get out. You don't even know where to start. Like this is often how we are trapped in our own thought patterns. We're kind of swinging up at the top of a tree, totally caught, totally can't get out. Oh my God, how am I going to ever get out of here? This is what our inner dialogue often does to us. It traps us in this seemingly, I can't get out of your trap. And it's literally a prison that you've put yourself into. But no offense to you, no one taught you any different. So how are you to know? How are you to know how to navigate this differently? Well, now you know. Now you know not to keep the spinning of the thoughts going toward why me, why this, why them, why that, why does it have to be this way? Stop that. And simply insert quiet time of meditation and transcending the mind, and then ask yourself better questions. What do I want to be? What do I want to do? What do I want to experience? Give yourself the opportunity to solve rather than to ruminate. You may think that you're self-reflective and really on top of things, but studies show us that 80% of us are lying to ourselves. I know, that doesn't feel good, does it? But it's true. About 10 to 15% of the population, according to some studies, are self-reflective and actually make strides in being a better version of themselves. Now, that doesn't mean that you've got the odds against you necessarily, but what it means is that most of us need help to get there. I've been working with a coach consistently for the last 20 years. And I've had coach this and coach that and this coach and that coach and different styles of coaches and different types of coaches along the way. Some of them more effective for me than others. I can't say any of them were bad coaches, but some were just more effective for me. I now have many coaches. I do. I have to admit. Just like some of the most successful people on this planet. You know, Tom Brady struggled in his football game last night. And if you follow me, you know I'm a fan of sports and football. And he's one of my favorite players to watch and to observe how he's been successful for such a long time. One of the longest career arcs. Drew Brees, another fabulous player. And they were playing each other last night. It was an epic clash of the Titans, two of the greatest of all time. And I know that each of those men, to stay at the top of their game for literally decades, they have had multiple coaches. Coaches for what they eat, coaches for probably how they sleep, coaches for, I'm sure, meditation and visualization and thinking in a successful pattern, coaches for throwing, coaches for strength, the whole thing. Now you may say, well, Mo, they have unlimited resources and of course, and la, 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 la. There you go again. There you go again, making excuses for maybe why you aren't where you want to be. I'm not saying that as an example for you to compare why you're not. I'm using that as an example to say, follow the example of success. Hire experts before you're in trouble, but hire them. I'm a great expert to hire at the right time. I'm not the best expert to hire at a different time, or I'm not the best expert to hire if your problem isn't what I solve. So if I'm a baseball coach, Tom Brady's not going to hire me. But if I'm a passing coach, we might have a good thing going. So if your career is not happening for you, chances are it's something inside of you with your thinking and feeling, which has crushed your soul. And this year has been a real big challenge to navigate that. And all of my clients will say they're so glad that they have the tools and the techniques and the ongoing coaching to help navigate what this year has been about. So know fully that what you're thinking about can trap you. And likely it has already. If you're not getting the results that you want in your life or career, and you're a professional woman, we might have a chance of being able to help you because that's the sport we play. If you're not getting the results that you want in your life and career, it's more than likely all about what's going on inside of you. Very few women we talk to on our complimentary career clarity calls need more education to advance. Very few. Very few. Now, after we coach and they get a very strong direction, they may make a decision about that, but that's on a career path, not just a, well, I'm not that far ahead. Maybe I'll get another certificate in this. Maybe I'll get a master's degree in that. We talk to so many women who have too much education and they haven't leveraged it. So most of the time when we talk to women on our complimentary career clarity calls, their career isn't working because either they don't have the right strategy, they don't know how to execute on it, they don't believe in themselves enough, and at the bottom of the line is internally, they're not in the best place internally. And if that's you, we may be able to help you. This has been a year that has pushed people into worse patterns and has pushed some people into solving their problems and creating better patterns and therefore better lives. Thank you, Keisha, for your shout out. And Letty, nice to see you. Coaching is where it's at with Coach Mo. Thank you, ladies, very much. Don't miss out. Sign up for her coaching. You won't regret it. That's right. It's an investment in who you know you are inside, but your mental habits and your soul has been crushed to such a level, you're not even quite sure what's going on or what to believe. And I get that. And at some point to fix it, you're going to have to trust. You're going to have to trust. Here's the analogy I just talked to someone about. If you're in the emergency room at the hospital with a broken bone, and there's no way you're going to go home and do anything. You got to be admitted into the hospital for them to set your bone, cast you, and make sure everything's stable before they send you home. What are you thinking about at that point? You are thinking, I got a broken bone and I need help. Check me into the hospital. Let's get this taken care of. I don't think you're on your phone going, is this the best hospital for a broken femur? Hey, nurse, where did you go to nursing school? How can I make sure if you touch me that that's going to work out right? Why is this happening? Why is that? Why did I even break my leg? Like, that utter nonsense is not helping you. But your fear brain hijacks you. We don't want your fear brain to hijack you any more minute, second, day, week, etc. Letty, Keisha, and Tarina, I don't know if you're still here, Tarina, you ladies all learned how to not get yourself hijacked. You learned how to keep yourself moving in the right direction so that you could get the help. So that broken leg gets healed and now you're running marathons and 10Ks and you're way ahead of everyone else. Care Bear, nice to see you here. Right on. You get my triage comment. It's just like that. So if you're in the emergency room with a broken bone or a heart attack or something, you've got to fix. It's just like a career underperforming. If you're not working right now, you got a problem. Don't whine me to death. You got a problem. Okay? You've got a problem. If you're in a toxic work environment, you've got a problem. I don't know why you're checking yourself out of the ER and going home limping on that leg, hoping it feels better. Because you don't like the hospital? Get yourself taken care of. Get yourself the right tools, techniques, the right expertise to move yourself into an empowered, beautiful version of you. There's been no time in humanity that human beings have been under as much stress and strain as we have been. Maybe the last time was during World War II. And not many of us were alive then. In our lifetimes, this has been major crunch time. Could you imagine if World War II was during the social media time? Woo! Whoa, 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 whoa. And I want to say this, your life is worth being awesome. I don't want anyone to second guess who they are as a human being. Your life is worth being awesome. It truly, truly is. And so therefore, please get out of the trap of your thoughts caging you and keeping you down. Spend time in your quiet, beautiful soul. And if your career is not where you want it to be, if you're hobbling around or having chest pains because of your career, well, if you're having chest pains, then I don't want to get yourself to the hospital. Metaphorically, if you are not healthy and thriving in your career, you have a problem that has to get fixed. And it can cost you tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars. We have several women who are early enough in their careers that having fixed their career and having them be on a bigger trajectory, is going to literally be millions of dollars more in earnings. I don't know a single family on this planet that wouldn't do better or have a better life or be able to educate their kids or have a better retirement without that up level. Everyone would love an extra $1 million. And when you know how to leverage your career, and when you know how to get out of your own self-imprisoned thought process, you can literally begin to carve that level of career path. It's amazing when you add up the numbers. And if you're in your 40s and 50s, there's less time. Yes, there is. Let's face it. But there's still time to up level and to get you past where you've been before. Let's get you lifted up. Let's get you into a career trajectory that feels good and that works for your heart and your soul and your body and your mind. Please remember that your mind is telling you lots of lies, and that unconscious bias and unconscious filter is nothing you can fix on your own. That's the whole definition of an unconscious bias. You're unconscious of it. It's called blind spots. And you've got to get those fixed in order to thrive and take yourself to the next level. And once you do, you're going to feel awesome. Who wouldn't want to feel awesome? I don't know. I want to feel more awesome every single day. And as a matter of fact, I do. I feel more and more awesome, and I feel great, and I do all of the things and then some that I have my clients do. Trust me when I say that. I do more of these techniques and skills than most of our clients do. Why? Because they work so well. I feel awesome. I stay in my zone. I don't get distracted by the BS that's out there. And I can be a higher version of me so that I can help lift, educate, and coach women who are needing it. You can take that to the bank. So you have some action items here for today, for this week. If you're a client of mine, you know exactly how to meditate. You know exactly how to stay in the zone. Do more of it for yourself and stay in your zone. Decrease your mind trash. Decrease the mental prison. And you know exactly how to do that if you're a client of mine. If you're not a client of mine, you need to understand the value of getting out of your head. You need to understand the value of leveraging your soul self into your power so that you can have different results in your life. And it is absolutely true. It absolutely does work. And this is how we have such great results with our clients. This is how it goes. And this is how it works. So for Motivational Monday, I'll be back here next week on a different topic. But this week, I've given you homework. I've given you homework and something to absolutely sit with and absolutely bring in so that your experience can change. If all of this is beyond you, or you're not even quite sure what I'm saying, or you're not even quite sure what's going on, you may need a complimentary career clarity call. We're going to break things down for you and understand what's really going on in your career. We're going to then talk about with you what's possible, what you really want to do, and if we can help fix that for you. We may talk about my workshop. Not everyone's a fit, and that's okay. It's okay. We want to have the really, really good conversation with you so you can get the clarity. It's really important to start with that. Over and out. This is Coach Mo, founder and creator of the Kick-Ass Career Workshop, where we help transform women's souls so they can be in the career that makes the best sense and the best dollars. Ho ho, that was a good one, Mo. Those of you who are my clients, will see you this week in the workshop. Those of you who are my Leadership Academy, see you in a few hours. And don't forget to bring your soul to work so you can land your dream job. See you next time, mofall.com.